A new student joined the class, but the teacher had no idea that he had picked the wrong person to joke with. He didn't realize that this young man was a meticulously trained North Korean spy, sent to the South on a secret mission. Previously known as Myung-hun, he had now changed his name to Dae-ho. Joining a new school in South Korea, Dae-ho tried to blend in with the other students and use the school as a cover. The first person he met was a girl named Hyun, who was not only polite but also shared the same name as his sister, who was currently imprisoned in North Korea. As soon as they sat down, a group of bullies appeared and began harassing him. Dae-ho tried to push the bully's hand away, but they quickly dragged him up to the roof. The leader of the group punched Dae-ho hard in the face, but Dae-ho, accustomed to such beatings, felt almost no pain despite his mouth beginning to bleed. Dae-ho felt almost nothing, but another bully remarked that his body was as solid as if he had been working out rigorously. As he searched Dae-ho, the bully found his wallet and took it out. Inside the wallet were some money and a family photo of Dae-ho, including his sister and late father. Dae-ho warned the bullies that they could keep the money, but they had to return the photo. When they ignored his warning, Dae-ho snatched back the photo and clenched his fist, ready to fight back. Just then, the teacher found the group on the roof and instructed everyone to return to class. To release his frustration, Dae-ho played a few rounds of basketball, fully aware that he couldn't afford to get into a fight as it could jeopardize his mission and expose his cover. When he returned to the classroom, the teacher continued to tease the students by lightly tapping them with the wooden stick he had brought. Before leaving the classroom, he reminded them that they had a cleaning duty to perform while he was absent. The bullies had an empty space and ordered Dae-ho and Hyun to clean the classroom, including the windows. The next day, Hyun was bullied again. Dae-ho didn't like what he saw, but he knew he couldn't intervene and had to restrain himself. Instead, he quietly helped Hyun pick up the trash that others threw at her. The bullies mocked them, calling them the loser duo, but the harassment didn't stop there. After class, they dragged Hyun into a private office and stole an envelope full of money she had. The money was meant to pay for her beloved ballet classes. As Hyun tried to get the money back, they tore her shirt. At that moment, Dae-ho stepped out of the office and believed the bullies had crossed the line and needed to pay. Dae-ho decided to take action, attacking each one, breaking their necks, legs and wrists, and teaching them a well-deserved lesson. The next morning, Dae-ho noticed that Hyun was missing from school. Meanwhile, the teacher gave the class a test and walked around with his stick, joking and reminding the students that they needed to think. As he approached Dae-ho and was about to lightly hit him with the stick, Dae-ho instinctively grabbed and held onto it. Realizing he had overreacted, the young agent quickly let go to avoid embarrassing the teacher. To smooth over the awkward situation, the teacher praised Dae-ho's quick reflexes. During the break, the bullies were eating lunch in the cafeteria, but it was clear they were struggling due to the injuries Dae-ho had inflicted. They discussed ways to get revenge but fell silent when they saw Dae-ho approaching. Dae-ho sat down with them and asked the ringleader if he knew where Hyun was. Afterwards, Dae-ho went to see the teacher and asked for permission to leave early, claiming he had a headache. The teacher was still feeling embarrassed about the earlier incident and genuinely wanted Dae-ho to leave school early that day, so he quickly granted permission for him to go. At the same time, Dae-ho received his first mission to track down an assassin who had killed former members of Unit 8, the organization he once belonged to. The first target was a man who ran a small boxing gym, where Dae-ho swiftly subdued him and forced him to sit down for interrogation. When the man insisted that he had no connection to the assassin, Dae-ho shot him in the leg to prove he was serious. A few minutes later, the man tried to fight back, attacking Dae-ho with a chair and then a knife. However, Dae-ho's skills were superior, and he quickly ended the man with a decisive blow. Dae-ho then visited a butcher who seemed more cooperative and provided him with the assassin's license plate number. However, shortly afterward, the butcher attacked Dae-ho in the store's cold room. Dae-ho dodged the attacks using hanging meat and quickly subdued the butcher. As he was about to leave, Dae-ho spotted the assassin and immediately hopped on his bike to give chase. The assassin quickly realized the danger, saw Dae-ho draw his gun, and fled. Dae-ho fired several shots, hitting the car's tires and causing it to lose control and crash into the curb, trapping the assassin inside. Dae-ho approached with the intent to kill him but noticed there were too many witnesses around. But some students were even recording the incident with their phones. Realizing that killing the assassin at this moment would attract police attention, Dae-ho decided to leave the scene, knowing that this was only the beginning of a long battle ahead. One night, Dae-ho returned home and was surprised to find the assassin waiting for him. Without hesitation, he took off his coat and approached to confront him. The two immediately engaged in a fierce battle, demonstrating their extensive training as they exchanged punches and kicks, leaving the house in ruins. Despite the destruction, Di-ho proved to be more effective in the fight. Realizing he was struggling to defeat Di-ho, the assassin attempted to draw a gun, but Di-ho quickly grabbed his hand and wrestled for control of the weapon. When the gun proved useless, the assassin pulled out a concealed knife and attacked. Di-ho skillfully used a can of soda to fend off the attack, and ultimately used the knife against the assassin. Knowing that the incident would draw significant attention, Di-ho decided to stage the scene as an accident. He cut a gas line and then placed a kitchen knife in the microwave. As the knife sparked, the house erupted in a violent explosion. Immediately, Di-ho hopped on his bike and fled the scene as quickly as possible. After settling into his new home, Di-ho received a call from a military colonel who had trained him to become a spy. This time, Di-ho's mission was to attack several members of Zone 35, another warning organization from North Korea. Zone 35 is associated with Kim Jong-un, the future dictator of North Korea, while Unit 8 is controlled by Kim Jong-il, the current dictator. Di-ho followed the orders and attacked members of Zone 35 during a meeting. While eliminating many of them, he also stole a package containing $30 million worth of diamonds. Meanwhile, a high-ranking member of the North Korean government arranged a murder. He announced that Kim Jong-il was critically ill and about to die, meaning Kim Jong-un would soon come to power. As part of the deal, they would provide the names of all North Korean units and agents operating in China and South Korea. Di-ho was informed that he could return to North Korea and reunite with his sister. However, he was unaware that the political situation had changed. The man assigned to transport Di-ho back by sea suddenly attacked him with a knife. Fortunately, Di-ho managed to recover in time and fought back. After dispatching the attacker, Di-ho realized that North Korea itself wanted him dead, leaving no safe path for his return. In his desperation, Di-ho turned to Hyeon and stayed at her house. While Di-ho was dozing off in exhaustion, Hyeon watched the news and discovered that the identities of the spies infiltrating South Korea, including Di-ho, had been revealed. The next morning, Di-ho received a call from the colonel, who informed him that he was in South Korea with Di-ho's sister and proposed to trade diamonds for his sister's freedom. Although Di-ho knew it might be a trap, he couldn't abandon his sister. Before leaving, he left a note for Hyeon, asking her to notify the police about his meeting with the colonel. During the meeting, the colonel and Di-ho compared their packages. As expected, a spy stealthily approached Di-ho and attempted to shoot him. However, the spy was dealt with by a police officer. Chaos erupted immediately as North Korean agents engaged in a shootout with the police, while Di-ho continued to confront the colonel. Eventually, the vehicle transporting Little Hen left but was quickly intercepted by the police. Knowing that his sister was now protected, Di-ho decided to flee, unsure of what to do next. The colonel, not giving up, kidnapped one of Di-ho's classmates as a hostage. Di-ho called a detective and left, keeping the line open for the police to monitor. Upon returning to the colonel, Di-ho handed over the diamonds, but unexpectedly tossed them into the air to create a distraction. While the colonel and those around him were captivated by the display, Di-ho began shooting to regain the upper hand. Although Di-ho had taken down many enemies, he was also hit by gunfire. To handle the dangerous situation, he threw a bag of explosives near some gas canisters, causing a massive explosion. While trying to escape with the explosives, Di-ho was caught by a remaining agent. Hyeon was instructed to flee, while Di-ho cleverly used the agent as a shield as the colonel advanced and attempted to shoot him. Di-ho retrieved his own gun and continued to fight, while the police also arrived at the scene. The three men were caught up in the chaos. Di-ho realized that he was facing the greatest danger, either death or imprisonment. Di-ho told the detective that he needed to end everything and immediately shot at the colonel, who responded by shooting back at him. Di-ho was hit multiple times, and his condition worsened rapidly. The detective and Hyeon quickly placed him in a car to rush him to the hospital, but there wasn't enough time. Di-ho died in the car, leaving behind the story of his best friend and the reasons for everything he had done. Recognizing Di-ho's sacrifice and his deep reasons, Hyeon decided to become the guardian for Di-ho's sister. Although Di-ho was gone, his sister would be cared for by Hyeon, the only person Di-ho fully trusted.